Beneath the Tian River, where icy waters cradle chilling secrets, the legend of water ghosts in the Mekong Delta sends shivers down the spine. Restless souls of the drowned lurk in the darkness, waiting to drag the living down as substitutes to gain release. From fireside folktales to a baffling case in Hunthap, join journalist Min and police captain GC as they unravel a mystery involving a floating corpse and a shadowy figure in Bareng Canal. Is it a vengeful spirit or a brutal truth? Tune in to uncover the secrets hidden in the river's misty depths, where the truth is colder than the riverbed. In the Mekong Delta, where rivers and canals weave through the land like the veins of the earth, stories of water ghosts are whispered among locals by the fire or under the shade of banyan trees along the riverbanks. The elders, with unwavering conviction, recount tales of restless spirit souls of the drowned lingering in the depths of murky waters. These spirits, they say, wait day and night for a chance to pull an unsuspecting swimmer beneath the surface, claiming them as a substitute to break the icy curse of the river and gain freedom to reincarnate into a new life. As a child, I often heard my grandmother tell these stories whenever my friends and I planned to swim in the cool waters of the Mekong River. I thought they were just old wives' tales meant to scare us kids, away from the dangerous currents and whirlpools that could swallow anyone whole. Little did I know that years later, as a seasoned journalist in Cao Lãnh, I would encounter the legend of the water ghost again, not from the lips of rural farmers, but within the pages of a thick police file from Hunthap Province. I had a close friend in the police force, Hong Jiajie, the captain of the Serious Crimes Unit in Hunthap. GC was a veteran, having cracked countless tough cases, from petty theft to murder. He knew I had connections far and wide, from market vendors in Kaitao H to tough guys at the SA Jack Ferry Pier, so whenever he hit a dead end, he'd call me for help. In return, I got exclusive scoops when cases were closed, a mutually beneficial arrangement. But this time, GC's call left me stunned, as if someone had doused me with cold water under the scorching April sun of the Mekong Delta. Min, have you ever heard of water ghosts? GC's voice came through the phone, low and uneasy, stopping me in my tracks. I thought I misheard and chuckled. GC, are you joking? A seasoned cop like you believing in ghost stories? Did you drink too much of Uncle Ba's homemade rice wine? GC paused, then let out a bitter laugh. You little punk, what are you thinking? I'm investigating a case and I'm stuck. The only lead points to this so-called water ghost. You know, everyone from the market to the riverbank helped me dig into what this water ghost thing is about. Know everyone? I've got brothers all over, from K2 Market to the Mekong Pier. I laughed, trying to lighten the mood. If you want my help, spill the details. This case is mine for an exclusive interview, right? Wait for me, I'm coming over. I hopped on a motorbike taxi from downtown Cao Lãnh, speeding along dusty red dirt roads flanked by lush green rice fields and clusters of water coconut trees. Under the blistering April sun, the air felt heavy, as if the Mekong Delta itself was warning of an ominous case. At the provincial police headquarters, GC welcomed me into his office, poured me a glass of cold tea, and began the story. Last night, a farmer named Uncle T. Rao from Tan Phahong went fishing in Bareng Canal. Uncle T was a master angler in the area, famous for catching giant snakeheads the size of thighs and catfish weighing over 10 kilos. He scoffed at fishing near the banks, calling the fish there too small, so he bought a small wooden boat to paddle out to the deep, quiet waters of the canal for night fishing. That evening, as soon as he cast his bait, the water beneath his boat churned violently. The float bobbed frantically, as if something was stirring the depths. Schools of fish scattered in panic, ignoring the bait he'd meticulously prepared roasted rice bran mixed with honey and chicken innards. Puzzled, he suddenly heard a loud splash echoing through the dark night, as if something had risen from the canal's depths. A massive black shadow slammed into the bottom of his boat, nearly knocking him overboard. Clinging to the boat's edge to steady himself, Uncle T peered into the water. Under the faint moonlight, he saw a bloated corpse, its skin pale as lime, floating on the surface. The victim's eyes bulged from their sockets, staring blankly at him as if trying to speak. Near the corpse, another dark shape loomed in the murky water of Barang Canal. Before Uncle T could process what he saw, the shadow vanished, diving swiftly into the depths where the moonlight couldn't reach. But just before it disappeared, he saw it clearly. It had arms, legs, and the unmistakable form of a human. Finishing the story, GC sighed, his eyes weary. The victim was male, about 20 years old. We used facial recognition software, but the body was too bloated for the system to identify. According to our investigation, no missing person reports in Henthap over the past month match his description. Uncle T, however, was adamant that the culprit was a water ghost. I saw it with my own eyes, arms, legs, like humans swimming underwater for hours without needing to breathe, black as coal. If that's not a water ghost, what is? That poor kid must have been dragged down to be its substitute. I sipped my tea, the cold liquid soothing my throat, and said to GC, I've heard of water ghosts. In the Mekong Delta, rivers like the Hu or Ba Rang Canal, where accidents are common, are said to be haunted by them. They're half human, half demon, lurking underwater, grabbing swimmers by the ankles and pulling them to their deaths. They're supposedly the souls of the drowned, seeking a substitute to take their place so they can reincarnate. GC shook his head, his eyes resolute. I've been a cop for decades and never seen a real ghost. I don't buy these stories, but this case does have some strange points. First, a body drowned for 2 or 3 days would bloat, decompose, and float to the surface, which matches the coroner's report, estimating the victim's death 3 days prior. But the entrance to Ba Rang Canal is monitored by a camera at Kai Tiao H Bridge, a narrow road where vehicles can't pass. The footage shows no one entering the canal without leaving in the past 3 days, nor anyone carrying anything resembling a body. If it was suicide or an accident, how did the victim end up in the canal? If it was murder and the body was dumped, how did the killer transport it without leaving a trace? Second, while the water ghost story sounds far-fetched, we can't rule out the possibility of a large predator in the canal, like an escaped crocodile from a farm or a python from Yumin Forest. But we tried baiting with fresh meat beef, fish scraps, and found no traces of such creatures. Besides, Ba Rang Canal is a critical irrigation source for Tan Pha Hong. Draining it to search is impossible unless we want the whole district to go dry in the middle of the dry season. Finally, what prompted GC to call me was a peculiar finding from the forensics team that he couldn't ignore. The victim died of drowning, but there was sand and mud in his fingernails and deep in his nose and mouth, just said gravely, his voice firm. This was definitely not a water ghost killing. The sand and mud aren't the natural type found in the Mekong Delta.
He continued, his eyes sharp.
Thap is in the Mekong Delta, with fertile alluvial soil. There's no natural sand for hundreds of kilometers. The sand and mud in the victim's body came from one source: industrial sand used in construction, specifically for mixing concrete. I frowned, sipping more tea to steady myself. Industrial sand? So the victim could be a construction worker, maybe a laborer at a site. If you have a lead, why not investigate that angle? Why call me? GC gave a rare helpless smile. If it's a murder case, direct police investigation might alert the culprit, making them cautious or flee. I need someone familiar with construction sites, who knows the ins and outs, to act as our front. You're a journalist, you've been everywhere, and you're savvy about this, right? Got it, I waved him off, trying to sound calm despite my growing curiosity. I know someone, Uncle Bathan, the biggest construction material supplier in Henthap. Every project from Cao Lãnh Bridge to the new resort in Tan Pha Hong involves him. I interviewed him once for the local paper. Let me take you to meet him. I told GC to ditch his stiff police uniform and wear a casual t-shirt and jeans to blend in as a businessman. We rode motorbikes through dusty roads to a riverside tea stall where Uncle Ba Than often hung out in the evenings. The air was cooler now, the sun setting. The stall was quiet, with Uncle Ba sitting behind the counter, fanning himself with a palm leaf fan, watching girls paddle by selling fruit from their boats. Uncle Ba, 3 red bean teas with extra coconut milk. I called out. One for you, sit and chat with us for a bit. Uncle Ba laughed, his eyes twinkling like a friendly neighbor. Journalist Min, just drinking tea? Let me grab some dried beef and a bottle of rice wine. He pulled out a fragrant plate of dried beef and a clear bottle of potent rice wine from under the counter. As he sat down, I introduced him to GC. This is Uncle Ba Than, handling 80% of Hunthap's construction materials. Sand, cement, steel. He's got a fortune but loves running this tea stall for fun. Says it reminds him of his days starting out hauling sand on a boat. Hearing this, Uncle Ba squinted, sizing up GCC's tanned skin and rigid posture, then chuckled. What's with you today, Min? Bringing a big shot to see me? I'm just an honest businessman, nothing to talk about. GC snorted, half joking, half serious. One glance and you know I'm a plainclothes cop. You're not that honest, are you? I groaned, stepping in before things escalated. Why are you two bickering already? We haven't even gotten to the main topic. No point hiding it, so I went straight to the point, my tone serious. Uncle Ba, we need your help. This is GC, captain of the Serious Crimes Unit, investigating a case tied to a water ghost. We need someone who knows construction sites inside out.